This recipe is part dessert, part medicine. Hi everyone, it's Tash and welcome to another recipe video, and today we're going to be making steamed Asian pears. Timestamps are down below in the description if you want to skip the initial blah blah, but stick around if you want to hear a little bit about what we're making first. Asian pears, also known as nashi pears, are a bit crisper and crunchier than their western counterparts. They're also rounder too, and they make a great traditional Chinese remedy for a sore throat or a cough. When steamed into a sort of sweet soup, it makes a really lovely, soothing broth. It's very nourishing, a little bit sweet, and it will just help take the edge off things. It probably won't outright cure you, but it will make you feel a little bit better. There are a couple of different ways of making this. We're going to be making it in the whole pear this time, or you can peel the pear first, but then I think you lose some of the nutrients that's in the skin. Totally up to you if you want to skin the pear or not. And then the other method is to actually chop the pear up and then add more water into the pot to make a proper like tang shui, a proper soup. My favourite way is to make it whole though, because then you have more of the flavour of the pear, because you're adding less water. This recipe seems to exist in different East Asian cultures. In Chinese it's usually known as zhēng xuělí, which is basically steamed snow pear, some kind of variation of steamed pear, and then any extra ingredients you're adding in, you'll add that to the name too. In Korean it's known as Pears, and they often add pine nuts to that, and ginger, a few spices. My version is pretty darn simple because when you're sick, let's face it, you don't want to make complicated stuff, you want to just bung stuff in one pot and be done with it. So I use as few ingredients as possible. So with all that said, let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. Now this is probably very obvious, but to make steamed pears you're going to need pears. So these are Asian pears. You can usually find them at your local Asian supermarket. Sometimes they have like a golden brown skin. Those are the Korean variety, I think, but yes. Just stick with your Asian pears / snow pears. And after we've given them a bit of a rinse and we've just scrubbed them lightly with our hands to get any, fluff, wax off, we're going to behead them. So we're just going to slice the very tops off. And we're going to keep the tops. Now we want to create little wells in them so we can stuff them full of goodies. So what I like to do is I like to take a small knife and start scoring, because we want to take the core out. Make sure you keep the walls quite thick though. And then I just go in with a spoon and start scooping. Then what I like to do is I just like to scrape a little bit around to even out our holes and make a little bit more of a well, but I'm collecting the mush that I'm scraping inside the pears because we want to eat that lovely mush. As you're digging, if you find any hard bits, then just take them out. Nice, let's set this aside. And we're going to have 2 heat-proof bowls, just the right size for our pears. We're going to pop these in. Now we're going to fill them, and I'm going to give them a jujube each, and a handful of goji berries, and I'm also going to cram some yellow rock sugar in there. You can have like normal white rock sugar, but I always like using yellow rock sugar because I like using this in my Chinese tea sometimes. This is going to add extra sweetness. Just jam it in there, as much as you like. Now we're going to add a little water to our wells, just to top them up. And we're going to put the tops back on, like little hats. Now let's pop these in our steamer. When you've placed your pears in the steamer, we're going to wait for it to actually come up to heat so it's actually steaming and bubbling, and then we're going to steam it for 45 minutes, so I will see you then. 45 minutes later, and they're looking gorgeous. Plenty of juice in there. Right now, we're going to take this off the heat, and I'm just going to let it cool down a little bit because it's very hot. The bowls are going to be hot as well. And now for the big reveal. Gorgeous. Oh, that steam coming off of it. These smell amazing, and they're still a little bit warm as well. I cannot wait to enjoy one. Well, that's pretty stinking cute. It's got a little hat, an edible hat. I've kind of spoiled it now. I was going to do my usual dig at it, but I couldn't help myself. Let's take some out. Because we've steamed it for such a long time, the pear is super soft. Gonna get a little bit of pear, a goji berry, and a little bit of that broth. Cheers. Perfectly sweet, little bit warm, very soothing for a sore throat. Feel free to add whatever dried fruits you want to the middle. Sometimes when I have some raisins in the cupboard, I'll add some raisins. Sometimes I have some dried Long Islands floating around. Works with any dried fruit really. I just demonstrate it with some of the more traditional Chinese additions. And if for whatever reason you can't find any kind of rock sugar at your local Chinese supermarket, be that white or yellow, you can just use regular sugar. Brown or white both work as long as it's not like the really dark stuff, because you don't want it to be bitter. Make sure you use as big an Asian pear as possible, because obviously you want to cram as many ingredients into the middle as you can. These were actually a little bit on the small side. I couldn't actually find the ginormous ones. Usually I can fit 2 jujubes in there and a few more goji berries, but you know what? This will do. If you're feeling extra fancy and not that sick, you can also chop up a little bit of tremella, also known as snow fungus, and add that to the middle as well, because snow fungus is often used in Chinese sweet soups, especially ones that soothe the throat. Very moisturising stuff. But just the fruits are fine. So there you go, steamed Asian pears to hopefully take a little bit of the pain of a sore throat away. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe video, and I hope you will join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog tashcakes.com, follow me on Instagram on tashcakes.tastes, and find me on TikTok too, on tashcakes there too, but my handle is food in slow motion. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Give this video a like if you'd like to help other people find it. Comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you all next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week. Obviously my throat is actually not too bad today because I'm still yapping away.